Oh, that's the worst, isn't it? Sorry, YouTube. Sorry. Hold on a minute. There we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Let's just call it as it is, right? Let's just call it as it is. Would say, though, look at this. Massive shout out to Jesse renewing that channel membership. Look at that. Gets a big green thing on there. So shout out to you, brother. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the live stream. Not going to lie to you guys. I was asleep about 20 minutes ago. Not good, actually. Totally fell asleep. I meant to be looking after my kids. They are all asleep as well, by the way. Don't worry. It wasn't like I left them cooking dinner or anything weird like that. But anyway, hope you're all doing well. Welcome in. Quite a bit to get into, I think, albeit not a lot to get into at the same time as well. I think it's fair to say. So if you've sort of tuning in that you're hoping I'm going to bring some miracle live stream that's going to tell you it's going to be all right, the actual hard facts are it's not all right, which we've kind of been taught. Let's not kid ourselves. We've been sort of talking about this now for a couple of weeks. I think there's an element that's been like, oh, it's fine. Like, this is kind of the push down the market. And by the way, maybe it is. Like, maybe Q4 ends up being super bullish for the markets. But right now, it is painful. It is super freaking painful. And there's a number of reasons of which we're going to sort of break down as to what that's about, why it's happening. And I guess the big question what's on everyone's mind is there even more to come? Like, are we actually going to see it? And by the way, is this officially the bear market? Well, I think it's fair to say that we are very much bearish, and we've been saying that. And you could argue and say, well, but we feel like it is very much the bear market, albeit still a bit to kind of walk through and talk through. But alt season, done. Altcoins, done. The sort of almost like this, it's nearly as big as the October 10th push down in the markets, which is also insane as well. So anyway, more of that in just a second. What's going on, Mark? Nobody says power naps are the best. Yeah. I just probably overslept a little bit. Let's talk about knitting. I'm down for that. XRP to the moon soon. Interesting stuff. I had a great live stream on TikTok last night. If you guys caught that, it was super good. We had a couple of new guests with us, and it was ace. It was absolutely ace. Tex said sold on my alt this evening. Yeah, probably not a bad shout. Yo, sexy. What is going on? We have the potential bottom here for a reversal. Well, I mean, we think the bottom's here, but then the bottom ends up not being here, and the bottom then suddenly becomes worse. So at the minute, we haven't called the bottom yet. So what to say that it's going to be different now? Anyway, let's talk about the charts. Let's get into it all. As always, don't forget, smash up the like button to remind you all-time high. If you haven't hit the like, then do so. Likewise on TikTok, by the way, tap that screen, lock a couple of likes in, and let's sort of get into it. Would have helped too bit if you'd have actually put the window in. There we go. There we go. So, here we go then. Look at this. BTC right now looking particularly challenging with a big old dumperino in the markets. Now, it is an interesting market. It is an interesting market because what you think's happened hasn't happened, and what we didn't want to happen kind of has happened. It's all a bit weird, really, to be honest. But as you can see there from the chart, Bitcoin significantly pushing down over 5.5%, which almost doesn't make any sense. The fact that it's pushed down so aggressively today, you're like, hold on a minute, why the hell is it pushed down? But if you remember, we were talking about this yesterday, and we were talking about kind of the idea that what are you guys looking at on TikTok? What the hell? Has TikTok gone weird? TikTok gone weird? Oh, no. There you go. No, sorry. It's just me. I just check in. Shane, what's going on, buddy? Just checking. NASDAQ 10Q spook markets. Yeah, exactly. Well, there was a lot actually in the NASDAQ, in the traditional markets and everything else. NVIDIA got absolutely demolished. So not only have we seen a push down in the markets, which we talked about yesterday, but actually generally we were seeing that the standard markets, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, all actually were performing pretty well. That is not the case. The S&P 500 taking a massive dump, and now, being back to kind of where we were back on Friday, October 10th, which, totally has freaked markets out. NVIDIA down like 3% or something, which is insane. On a relatively non-event. I mean, we'll talk about what's come out today, but that is a big old push down. I think the S&P 500 to 6.7. Interesting, the NASDAQ, albeit did push down a little bit, wasn't anything like what we've seen before. And then the dollar back above 100, which the dollar is rising. And, I guess we need to keep our eye on this. Obviously, for crypto assets, you want a weaker dollar versus a stronger dollar, to be honest. But then what's also interesting, you've seen treasury yields dump as well. So you got the 10-year that's now at 4.1. The 30-year is at now 4.37. So they're not dumping that aggressively, but they are definitely starting to come down again. Then you got MicroStrategy like down 5%. This continues to push down. Coinbase down 7%. Like, yeah, it's bad, bro. It's bad. Coinbase's stock now back to the price it was back in June. Again, lots of real big dumping in the market, which if you remember, we talked about this yesterday and we said, look, my view right now, sit tight, don't do anything crazy, you know, wait and see kind of what happens. And, you know, look, exactly that. We are literally at the level I talked about yesterday. We just broke below. The question is, where do we get to in terms of this? 86,676. If you were here last night, I literally said, watch out for the push to this exact line. Well, look, we are there. That's the answer. So whether we break below it is one thing to think about. Whether we dump and bounce, maybe. You know, maybe we get a rally tomorrow. It doesn't feel like it, though. Billy Bob, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Sitecoin in the house. What's going on, Sitecoin? What's going on, Alvin? Sam says XRP holding strong. Quite impressed. If you didn't watch my video earlier on about XRP, I highly recommend going and checking it out, by the way. We're going to start getting into some pretty cool shit because there are some very smart people involved in the research of XRP, way smarter than I am. But I'm going to steal some of it because they're very good. They're very good people. Also going to dump really bad soon. They sometimes get a delay. That's true, Stardog. But I mean, they're dumping pretty aggressive. What are you doing to a bit more stable? Yes. Yeah. So I mean, if I'm honest, I think last night we were talking about it. I was like 55, 60% in stablecoin. With generally just my bigger holdings, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, like still holding up in the grand scheme of things. All of my risk fringe gone. You know what I mean? Very small trades if I need to. Still in my short from 101,600 as well. So we'll see where this bounces. 86,676. If we get a bounce back to the upside, I may close that short. We'll see. If you look on the macro side of things, and we talked on this, if you go back to the kind of, I guess, the original start of the bull market, we have this perfectly lined up here. Interesting here at the 70,655. Now, some people are claiming we'll go a bit lower. Some people think we go higher. You start to look at that. 69,582 would be where we'd see the 0.36 Fibonacci, which breaks below the 80,761 at the 382. Again, you can see kind of where we lost the 0.5 fib here and broke down well below it. So, you know, price targets, like we said before, if you're going on the short time frame and you're looking at here, you're talking sort of 86 if we were to hold where we are. If we break below and you look at this kind of broader move, then you're absolutely dialing in 80,761. Now, I guess the question is, where can this go from a, you know, full on, the ass absolutely has fallen completely to shit. And yeah, I mean, where are we going to get to? The short answer is, well, we need to understand kind of how this market is going to play. And I guess this entire bull market cycle, where does this get us to? Well, currently you can see us ranging at the 618, push down again, the 0.5 Fibonacci perfectly on that line at 70,000. The argument would be, if you were to say we would retrace back to traditionally the line that we hit to, which is around the 382 Fibonacci, you're talking anything between 57,000 and 60K. That's kind of my view. And we've talked about this before. It takes us to the previous all-time high from the previous bull market cycle top, which again is aligned perfectly where we see the biggest bit of kind of volatility and equally the kind of most difficult breakout wedge that we got. So my prediction right now is short-term 86,676. Let's see if we bounce off that level. If we do, okay, great. If we don't, my opinion is we'll push further down. 80,000 is probably where I'm talking about. Then you sort of get into the world of going, okay, we are in full-blown shit street. Full-blown shit street. I'm talking, you know, we're talking 60K would be where I'd be thinking of BTC going, which is relatively painful and would be a significant decline, albeit, you know, not the kind of craziest declines that we've seen. So, you know, if you were to say 60,000, you're talking a 52% decline. If you were to take a look at, say, something like the 2021 bull market cycle top and actually take that from the top to the bottom, that was a 77%. So it probably sits in line with lesser dumping in the market, less aggressive cool-off periods. But at the same time, it's going to be pretty painful if you're holding Bitcoin all the way down. And I think the question you've got to ask yourself is, what point do you say, right, enough is enough? Or, and as insane as this sounds, and I think there's only a few coins you can do this with, you kind of just go, well, okay, do you know what I mean? Who cares? Maybe we get a bounce. Maybe 60K isn't the bottom. Maybe 86,000 is the bottom. I mean, we're bouncing perfectly off this range now, which actually would end up being a, you know, would certainly be a more positive and, you know, certainly more bullish confirmation, albeit the markets, like we said, is absolute dog shit right now. So again, just worth thinking about. But that's kind of what we're looking for, that bounce right now on Bitcoin. And we are literally testing that 236 Fibonacci as well. Tom, what's going on, buddy? Maybe see the 9,900 CME gap. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, yeah, I mean, the reality is you're down here, aren't you? So, I mean, there isn't a lot, I don't think, the lower end of the CME gap that hasn't already been wiped out. That's the problem. I mean, you're down this kind of range, aren't you? I mean, 40,000. I don't think we're going that low to hit a CME gap, but I mean, I guess maybe. Maybe. It would be pretty crazy if that was the case, but I don't see it personally. But, you know, who knows? Who knows right now? Is this kind of where the CME goes? You'll have to see. 2.94 trillion overall market cap. So you can see there that Max Payne, Max Ruggerino. Does it feel like a bear market? Kind of doesn't feel like a bear market to me, but again, worth noting, I think, as we kind of go in there. So got the dry powder ready. Dr. Crypto, yeah. I mean, I've been stacking stablecoins now for like, 10 days, 11 days, something like that. So my opinion, by the way, best thing you do, just chill out, sit tight. I'm very fortunate. I've got a short trade in, so I'm like, okay, cool. We'll just sit and see where we go to. Things can turn around, albeit we'll talk about why they feel less likely than probably they did yesterday, I think is fair to say. So there's no point really going to the altcoin market. Lots of markets are now losing it. Ethereum looking at probably a 2,670 retest. Solana 133. XRP holding up just above $2. Did break below this support, which, I mean, on the grand scheme of things, I think it's probably moved. That support is probably more there, isn't it? So still probably lost that support level, but, you know, worth thinking about. Maybe we see a further push down on XRP. If you were going to say 2 support levels, probably puts you somewhere in that range. We maybe come down, test 190, followed by a bounce back to the upside, perhaps on 190, maybe. And then the rest of the altcoin market is an absolute disaster. Airdrome Finance completely destroying itself. I mean, AVAX at $13 is absolutely wild. Well as rest of some of these other coins as well, with the only couple of coins, XDC's having a decent-ish day, XCN also green, and then Zcash still only up 2% on the grand macro scheme of things, and actually starting to push back to the upside, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. But hey, memes, not even worth discussing. They are absolutely dreadful. So yeah, I mean, we are where we are. That is the harsh reality of life right now. AVAX, it's like 1360 or something, but yeah, pretty crazy to think about it. Beef says I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're definitely closing below the 50 week again. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Marx is XRP ready to take off after multiple institutional ETFs. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're trillion wiped off the stock market. Yeah, it's insane. And that's the difference between this one, right? That's the difference between this particular move and the move we've seen over the course of the last couple of days. This is a market-wide move. Stock markets collapse, Nvidia down. I mean, to say we were looking at Nvidia yesterday, and then you look at kind of where it is today, like, it is wild. That is a fucking huge dumperino on Nvidia. And obviously the markets completely have not done very well. Yeah, earnings were good. That's a crazy thing. Nvidia earnings were good. Well, let's talk about what's gone on. Let's talk about what it is. Let's understand kind of exactly what's going on. So, obviously, we got the announcement that lots of the job data is going to be delayed, but we did actually get some data that came in. So, we obviously got some jobs data, but it came all the way from September. Initial jobless claims, 229, down from 232. So, actually, what we were seeing is that in September, there were job growth, okay? In essence, non-payroll farm rolls was 119 versus 53k expected. These are all good news, right? These were good news, okay? So these were like, the job creation was good. We have made more jobs. There is more economy. Trump's like, okay, bullish news. The problem was the unemployment rate actually went up by 0.1%. So then you start to go, well, how does that work? How does that work? And this is the thing, the markets went, this is bollocks. And this is why we've seen this massive dump in the market, because the market's gone, okay, hold on a minute. You're telling me that initial jobless claims was down, okay? It's down. The number of people seeking government help for not having a job is down. It's down by about 3,000 people. Okay, cool. We created more non-farm payroll jobs than we've seen before. So we actually created well in excess of what, 66,000 jobs? Yeah, 66,000 jobs? No. Yeah, 66,000 jobs. So there's more jobs, okay? In September, we're like, hey, this is great. Like, here's another 66,000 jobs. So 3,000 less people claiming job seekers or whatever it is, and 63,000 new jobs. The problem is you then go, the employment rate goes, what? 0.1% decline on employment. Think about it. How many people are employed in the US? That number's fucking huge. Mixed signals, but unemployment beat keeps a bullish edge for crypto a little bit. The problem then is people freaking out because they think the AI bubble is about to pop and basically the whole recessionary fears are coming back. Not helped, by the way, by simply put, the Fed went, nope, we are not cutting rates. That is the harsh reality of it, to the point where everyone started freaking out and saying, well, look, if we are in this world where unemployment is coming down, and Powell himself basically coming out and saying, look, we care about like employment. We almost don't even care about the jobs market. We care about unemployment. This is obviously just totally with that. So the markets basically went, yeah, no rate cuts in December, massive unemployment numbers, weakening labor market. Basically, this is lagging. Don't forget, this is data that's from September. Like, we're 2 months behind this data. Like, so markets basically went, yeah, unemployment's going to be like 4.5%. Like, this is way worse than people think. And actually, this is a number based on September. We're not going to get the actual data we need for probably another 4 weeks. Well, markets went, that data is going to be terrible. Okay, simple as that. So again, this is kind of where it gets to bad news. And then obviously then the whole sort of house of cards falls to pieces, which is the risk that we've been talking about now for the entire market, specifically the S&P 500. If you remember, we talked about the fact that basically the S&P 500 is made up of 47% in the Magnificent Seven. So Microsoft, Apple, Google, Meta. Who else is it? Who else is it? Nvidia, Tesla, maybe? I think it is. So again, this is kind of where you got to. So bad news, if we're honest. And then you just kind of see all these massive liquidation events. And this is where we were saying again yesterday, people just get to the point and go, fucking screw it. I can't be bothered to lose any more money. Is it fiat forcing people to sell assets to pay liabilities? I don't think so. I think people are just freaking out about this market. Because what's interesting, BlackRock today buying Bitcoin, albeit have an interest to buy Bitcoin. So they bought about 680 Bitcoin, as did Fidelity, by the way. That now takes their total for the week to 2,000 Bitcoin. So tomorrow may end up being actually a green day if you look at that projected as forward that actually some people may be buying. And you obviously talked about today, my Bitcoin update video. Like, you've got Japan's, like, the carry trade in Japan's looking super fragile, like cheap free money that you can leverage against is gone. So all of these indicators are basically screaming that the US is going into recession. Then when you need consumer confidence and you've got people wanting, like, looking at Trump going, please tell us it's going to be okay. He's not telling you it's going to be okay. He's like, we got more jobs. Well, yeah, but your unemployment numbers going up. What the hell are you talking about? Which just isn't kind of great news at all, actually. And that is unfortunately where I think we've got to. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about it. I just need to mute and block this account that's in there. Good news. For more like a mofo, Selma knows what's up. Selma knows what's up. Rehire Gensler for gains. I mean, John Doe. I mean, there's a big debate. I still can't find the Trump Biden Bitcoin chart, which again is hilarious. It shows Biden's like miles ahead. Oh dear me. Let me see. Trump Biden crypto chart. I don't know if I can find it, but it was pretty funny if you ask me. Everyone was like, "Bring Biden back. We're tired of winning so much. We're tired of winning, bro." I don't know where it is. Anyway, I think this is awesome. Been waiting for sub $2. Numerics RP and didn't think I would get a chance again. Bring on the blood. Well, I mean, you might get an opportunity for it to go even lower. Thoughts on buying Tau before the halving? I mean, honestly, I haven't really thought about buying anything, to be honest. There is an argument to say, should you buy the dip? The problem is right now is we keep buying the dip and the dip keeps going down, albeit Bitcoin pushing back for 87K. So maybe we get a little dead cat bounce, but I wouldn't be FOMOing anything super crazy right now. So yeah, again, like we said, massive capitulation of the market, loads of fear coming in, which is never a good sign. Now, interesting as well, BTC on the daily, RSI hitting an all-time 2-year low, which is almost insane as well. The most oversold we have been for 2 years on BTC, which is kind of crazy to think about. So is this showing as a bottom? Well, I mean, if you look at March, we rallied on the back of that. The problem you've got here, which I think so many people are misguided when they talk about this market, is you are in a very different market than we were in March. You almost come off the back of a relatively overheated halvening back end of the sort of year. And then you sort of end up where we got to. Right now, there is genuine economic concern. Even the Fed, we talked about yesterday, that actually this market's going to totally roll over and end up in a superstar recession. So, but RSI certainly could be signaling that this look is the bottom. Historically, when we've hit these lows, you can see here a couple of indicators where we've actually rallied from these bottom lows. In fact, for both times, in fact, three times, where we've been below the 30 point, you've seen a push back to the upside. We actually have the RSI here. If you go onto the weekly candles, you can sort of see how this plays out. Whenever we have seen such a massive, push down here on the RSI, where we've been historically low on the markets, we actually have seen a relatively strong move back to the upside. So again, you can see here where we push back up, aligned perfectly with that move back to the upside. Like I said in that one, albeit much more small, whenever we've been down these sort of levels, have generally, indicated solid moves in the market. So, when we were back here, this is obviously the bottom end of the FTX collapse, which is worth noting, by the way, that we are at a similar level to when FTX collapsed. So this is why I think so many people are totally freaking out right now in the market. And rightly so. I mean, no one wants to lose money and no one really wants to lose gains. But at the same time, that's why it's always important to, take some profits on the way up, etc. Do you believe we would have had an alt season if we didn't have tariffs? Probably not. Probably not. And look, there was always an element of optimism that's still out there. But I think the reason it's the worst alt season. I saw a really interesting post earlier on. It said, a friend of mine is 90% down in their entire portfolio and it's their worst bull market ever. Why? They didn't trade meme coins. They didn't trade leverage. They bought conviction on coins they believed were going to do well, which were altcoins. And if you bought that conviction, barring, say, things like Ethereum that had a decent-ish run, Solana, if you weren't buying, and again, this is kind of why we can sit here a little bit and take probably a bit more of a risk than others, because we were buying Solana at $8. Well, Solana's got to drop a pretty long way for us to be out of pocket. And I think if you were in that place, then fine. The problem you've got is a lot of people will have bought here, as an example. And this is the problem. So then what you end up with is almost this waterfall now, because so many of these people, think about it, we touched on it yesterday, basically from the 22nd of April, you are, in essence, if you bought Bitcoin, you are underwater right now. And that's the problem, right? That's the problem, is that you've got such an aggressive push down, which again could be institutions, ETFs, everyone dumping their Bitcoin. Then this obviously means that that's why you get massive sell-offs in the market. And that's why people are literally dumping their bags like absolutely massive lunatics. It doesn't help that obviously people are seeing massively depreciative trading opportunities. So people are just not long in the market right now. Not long in the market right now. Racist manipulation. I mean, it definitely could be, by the way. So yeah, look at this. But if BTC did rally, then 5 billion in shorts would be liquidated if BTC gets to 95k. I mean, it's a pretty big fucking push over the next 24 hours, but worth kind of thinking about as it comes in there. And this is kind of the big reason here on this chart as to why you're seeing such a big old dump in the market, right? That's just my opinion. The Bitcoin capitulation, short-term holders underwater, 2020 COVID crash, 92% in a loss at 38.50. 2022 FTX collapse, 94% in a loss at 16,000. Today, 99% in a loss at $89,000. Think about that. 99%. This is the highest short-term holder capitulation ever recorded. Short-term holders are totally freaking out right now. Totally freaking out. So again, you could even look at this one of two ways. You've got to look at it in the sentiment of going, I am in this category, like I don't like it. I'm really uncomfortable. I feel like all of my money is just like vanishing to thin air. Like I didn't sign up for this bullshit. Like I signed up to be a millionaire at the end of the cycle. Well, the reality is that's what's happening. Or you kind of have to go, right, well, I either sell at a loss or I have conviction that longer term, I'm going to be okay. Craig, thank you so much for the rose. Appreciate it. Craig Solinger in the building, everybody. Welcome in, buddy. Welcome in. And Jen, thank you for the trade. Thank you for the trade. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. If anyone else wants to support us, by the way, there's a little button here. Look, I think it's about here. Click this button, share us out, let people know we're live. There'll be people out there right now that are totally losing their mind about what's going on with Bitcoin and the crypto market. They're the sort of people that need to come and join this live stream and just be like, hey, what the hell is going on? Like, what do you think the best thing to do is? Da, 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 da. And by the way, I'll only ever tell you what I'm doing. Thank you for the heart me's. Massively helps out the channel, by the way. If you want to drop a heart me, I would appreciate it. You don't have to, though. Again, this content is free. But this is a big problem. This is a massive problem, actually. Now, historically, whenever we've seen massive capitulation and short-term holders followed that, rallied up to new all-time highs. Not all the time, but certainly when we've seen massive capitulation as we have now. This is, like I said, the lowest ever we have been on the short-term holder profit and loss ratio, okay? So what you have all of a sudden within the space of about 46 days is we've gone from all-time highs to we are the absolutely most bearish on every indicator you could possibly find in the markets. Then you can argue and say, well, maybe, you know, what does the bottom look like? And if the bottom 60K, well, like we could be there in 2 weeks' time. Like, think about it. The broader problem is if we do actually get a big old shit show recession, then what does that actually look like, specifically for risk on assets and basically where that kind of plays through. So worth noting, a little bit of a bounce right now, nothing crazy, 87,391. I am not holding any hope of it kind of pushing. We did rally a little bit back end of the day yesterday, but I don't think this is going to be the same. I think this is real capitulation in the markets, and we sort of sit where we are. But worth thinking about. And like we said, lots of macro stuff going on that I think people are totally losing their mind over and totally panicking as to where this is at. So man, I was hoping I was going to find this chart, but hey, such is life. You can't win them all. It's not Pokemon, is it? Hey, Pokemon. Good. The other thing to think about as well, by the way, and I think it's worth playing two sides of a coin, because you could argue and say the market's over, we're done, we're going to zero. This will invalidate so much stuff when it comes to bull market indicators and how history's kind of played out. XRP is down, but I've just bought again and holding, fingers crossed. Honestly, if you haven't checked out my XRP video, I recommend you go and do it. We had an amazing chat on here, actually, on my TikTok live last night. We had a couple of people that haven't been really with us before, but honestly, that conversation was super, super bullish. Michelle and Country, I recommend going and listen to it, right? But if you haven't already, head on over to the channel. Here you go. Look, this is my YouTube channel. It's easy to find, 2Bit Crypto. Again, head over to youtube.com/2BitCrypto. You're going to find it. Go and watch this video here. This one here, all about XRP. It says, seriously, if you hold XRP and you need to see this, the new financial, although I spelled financial wrong, which is kind of annoying, system proof. So again, go and watch this one, right? It's pretty interesting. While you're there, you can watch the fact that the Fed rug pulled us, by the way. So again, you can look at this one as well. But as always, we got some great content for you. And if you want to become a legend, you just click on this join button, grab a membership, dead easy, get access to our premium Discord as well. So worthwhile. Calvin, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. So definitely check those videos out. But yeah, highly recommend checking that. Bullish, lots of alpha in there, lots of good news. But like we said, if this is the end of the, or let's say if the bull market has ended, that's probably a better statement, then the reality is that it invalidates loads of stuff that we've held dear to us in terms of actual market cycles, how we predict the markets are going to move, indicators that tell us that we're going to see more bullish, and it almost rewrites the rule book. And I think that's an important thing to think about. It totally rewrites the rule book. Sam, do I own any bonds? No. I used to be in, man, I can't get that comment up. I used to be in, I can't get a comment up, it's super annoying. I used to be in dividend stocks, but not anymore. Not anymore. I went all into the crypto market like a lunatic. You have to do what's good for you, Robert. Yeah, Robert says, tomatoes, I hate to sell, but if they totally collapse the market, that would force my hand. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. XRP to 0.5, lost loads today, but keep on buying the dip. Northampton West, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Yeah, I mean, $800 million once again liquidated out of the crypto markets, which isn't great, by the way. But if we were to look at this as an example, only because I need to click on a few bits. So the bull market indicators, it invalidates every single indicator that's on here right now. Because you would then be like, oh, yeah, do you remember, like, you only held 600 bucks dividends? I mean, that's probably true. Do you remember 2025 when not one single indicator hit? And even when you think about pull multiplier, MVRV indicator, like none of them got close. Like look at this. The bull multiplier, none of it got close. Historically, he's always told us when the bull market is, when the top of the market comes in, absolutely got nowhere near it. Nowhere near it, by the way. And then when you look at the MVRV, as well as many other indicators, they all absolutely should have indicated that the market was in. And it didn't, which tells us that the market's so weird, which, put your tinfoil hat on, maybe an indicator that there is potential to come. Liquidity might start to move back to the upside. Everyone starts to get excited again. All of a sudden, before you know it, everyone who was short on the market gets wrecked. Everyone that's already been wrecked on the longs get wrecked. And basically the institutions buy cryptocurrency cheap. Maybe that's the answer. Only out of pocket if I sell, I'm holding strong and worth. Yeah, I mean, Aiden, that's probably not a bad shout. What's going on, Blair? Good to see you, man. The bit for me, and I guess where I'm at is, look, riskier players, I'm out of. Like, I'm done. Like, if you're in a high leverage long position or you're in a high leverage short position, like, you want to be careful with that because they are where people right now in this kind of market go hunting for liquidity. But, you know, we'll invalidate all of these, which again is going to be pretty tasty as to kind of how it plays out. But, you know, reality is, it is going to be bad freaking news. Okay, so let's get into some nuts and bolts as to what the hell happened. Okay, and let's try and talk about what is going to need to change in order for us to do it. And by the way, that could change in the sort of next, 4 weeks. There isn't the craziest amount of economic data that's going to come out. But, if jobs, for example, were to pivot and actually that unemployment rate comes down, which, you can't tell me that there isn't a reason why the jobs report's not going to come out. CPI is not going to come out. It's bad news. Bad news. And that's kind of what I was talking about when I did my Bitcoin video this morning. Like 100%, Trump has made sure that doesn't come out. And we've always tried to remain relatively unbiased, as much as people believe that I am like a pro-Trump supporter, which I'm not, by the way. I'm pro-Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. The reality is that you've got stuff like this, a new Fox News poll saying that voters say the White House is doing more harm to the gun good to the economy. Like, people don't like this right now. They're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is why you are hearing nothing about tariffs. He cannot bring tariffs in. So the risk there is that you lose the leverage when it comes to tariffs. Now, it's Trump, isn't it? So he could just go, screw it. I don't really give a flying fuck. I'm just going to do it anyway. But this is obviously where the risk kind of comes in and people obviously totally freaking out. We obviously have to wait a little bit until we get a little bit more data that's going to come through. We don't have a lot coming tomorrow, by the way, which is probably good news in fairness. We don't want anything crazy. We do have a lot of Federal Reserve speakers, though. Very much. We've got, Williams, Barr, Jefferson, Collins, and Logan's all going to talk. We do get PPI Tuesday. So PPI, consensus 0.3, forecast is 0.5, previous at 0.1. That would be shit as well. So we may it may get way worse yet before it gets better, which again is probably worthwhile. The other thing we get next week, by the way, house price index, and more importantly, we get the month-over-month move on house prices. What's one of the first things that rolls over in a session? The housing market. So again, we've got some pretty interesting data coming next week if that data gets released, and it won't be until ISM data comes out Monday, the 1st of December, that we then probably start to walk through into a potential month of really strong data. Wednesday, December 10th. CPI. Oh, we'll have to see. Anyway, who did they pull? Maybe. Who knows? And look, the reality is that if you are in the economy right now, it's gonna feel bad. Like, holy crap! Like, you've just seen billions liquidated out of the market, and the problem you've got is that this isn't being owned. So I heard a really interesting statement, which is kind of what they should have done, is come out and gone, right, here is where we need to get to. We're going to use tariffs to leverage, but it's going to be painful. The market's going to struggle. Yes, we might see a boom on stocks, but longer term, we are actually going to have to face into the harsh reality of, look, it is going to potentially put us into a recession, but don't worry. Fiscal policy will support that. We'll get lots of money from tariffs. We'll obviously support everyone in low-income families with all this money. Like, don't worry about it. The longer term would be better. Whereas actually what they did is, we're booming. The stock market's fucking great. Everything's going to the moon. Underneath it, it's literally collapsing. So again, that whole kind of idea of this kind of AI bubble, which people are shitting themselves now because Nvidia drops, 4, 5, 6%. Everyone's like, oh my God, if Nvidia, bear in mind, on the biggest revenue ever in a quarter, the market's cooked. I can afford a turkey for Christmas this year. Sparrow again. Tomorrow, Pete, I know the feeling, bro. I know it. We're having pigeon, I think it is. Man, sorry, I've got this really big spot on my leg. Not that you guys need to hear that, but anyway, it's kind of frustrating me. But look at this. First official data in weeks of the US jobs market is out, and it showed a surprising pickup in hiring after a lackluster summer. So this is the bit that the market's just totally freaked out about. Employers added 119,000 jobs, but employment rate ticked up 4.3 to 4.4. The Labor Department figures showed. US government shutdown ended last week after more than a month, a delayed publication of the figures for nearly 7 weeks, leaving policymakers guessing about the state of the job market at a delicate moment. And it's even worse now. So, I guess that's kind of where we get to. But policymakers in the US Central Bank and Federal Reserve have been divided about the need for further interest rates. In addition to the health of the job market, they are monitoring price inflation and ticked up to 3% in September, above 2% rate at the banks now. Now, just my opinion, I do think the Fed cuts. I think the Fed cuts. I don't think they can afford not to. Do you think the Fed still cuts rates in December? Okay. Yes or no? Right. Oh, did I just delete that? Oh no, that was fine. Okay, we don't need that. Jesus Christ. Oh, there we go. Right. TikTok, you can answer this as well. So smiley face, they cut rates. Sad face, they don't. Let me know, okay? You've only got a minute, TikTok, so you better answer it pretty sharpish. So let me know, what do you guys think? They still cut or not cut in December? That's going to be the interesting bit. The announcements have raised concerns about the crack in what has been seen as a low hire, low fire job market, but evidence of wider deterioration has been elusive as claims for unemployment benefits remain stable. Healthcare firms, restaurants, bars lead the job gains in September, while transportation and warehousing firms, manufacturers, and the government shed jobs. I don't think that's a surprise, by the way. Usually the strains have been particularly pronounced among these with college degrees. The unemployment rate for that group rose to 2.8 in September, up from 2.3 a year earlier. Pretty interesting. Okay, you guys still, Rob's there. Yeah, Crypto Reach says, yeah, bullish on that. 60% of you guys here on YouTube believe that Powell will still cut rates. Interesting. Powell is going to next year. He's gone March, I believe it is. Double cut, sell the rumor, buy the news. John, I've been saying double cut now for about 3 months, and everyone thought I was a lunatic, but maybe. The index of greed and fear, been in fear a while. Is there some timeline for how long it's usually? We've never been this low in the fear and greed index ever in the history of Bitcoin, which is kind of wild to think about. The index of, Logitech, you put twice. What the hell, bro? Come on, bro. What the frick? With housing on shaky ground, I think the Fed... I think the Fed has to cut rates as well. I'm absolutely in that place where I believe that they cut rates. And I think that maybe, just maybe, they super fear the market and then sort of see where we get out. But yeah, fear and greed index right now is at 15. So if you look here on the 1 year, the last time we were anywhere even close to this was down here in August of... 4th of August, 2025. Like I said, which again, when you look at the charts here, is where we saw some significant push downs in the market. Still, though, not anywhere near as bearish as we are right now. So it's a super weird market. But again, we are in extreme fear and getting worse. In fact, yearly low was 15. So yeah. Yo, 2-bit still every day, buddy. Surprised I haven't heard folks finance mentioned here yet. Who? I don't even know who that is. Real Timbo Slice. I love that that's your name, by the way. Powell's balls will be hanging on the Trump's Christmas tree if he doesn't cut rates. That's also true. I just can't understand how this news is worse than the FTX collapse. It doesn't make sense to me. The difference you've got between FTX and now is retail was the FTX driver. Right now, you've got institutional money that, yes, while everything was going up, everyone was like, this is amazing. BlackRock bought $1 billion of Bitcoin. Cool. Like, here we go. And now they're like, yep, we're selling $1 billion of Bitcoin. That's the problem. You have no control over it. And they don't care. That's the difference. Think about it. If you have a load of retail investors that have bought Bitcoin, they're way more likely than just like the conglomerates and the massive corporations that are just like what the hell? Audio's gone from your big mic. I think it's on TikTok. Is it? It shouldn't be. Is it? Everything looks like it's connected. Bits Blaze in the house. What's going on, Bits Blaze? Welcome in, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Crypto Vern's in the building as well. Good old Crypto Vern. What's going on, man? Hello from the north of Cyprus, fella. Hope you're doing well, 2-bit. Sonny Rajput, I'm good, mate. I am good. I'm better than this market. Oh, look at this. Come in, tango. Just a bit of an echo. I think it's all good now. Okay, bro. I think it's you. Just my opinion. Anyway, thank you for all you're doing for your providers. Hey, no, look, thank you for watching it. That's the big thing. Very dense fog here in Michigan. Well, you better slow down. That's what Powell said. Look, I appreciate you guys. If you watch my videos, comment on my videos, hit a like on the video, even if you just turn up to this, massively does help out. So I appreciate you guys 100%. It's like one big rug pull from institutional money. It is exactly that. That's what's happening right now. So, like we said, okay, here's the other bit. Fed probability is literally collapsing. All right, collapsing. And I think that's where people are getting a little bit freaked out by. So the Federal Reserve's potential rate cut driven by market pricing, pivotal economic indicators are under scrutiny as December approaches without a fresh CPI or employment data. And I think the CPI data ends up being bad news. That's just my opinion, by the way. Chad says massive manipulation about the ETFs at the moment. Yep, true. Now, XRP ETFs feel pretty bullish. And I was talking about this. In fact, I talked about it last night. And obviously I talked about it on the live stream where I said XRP is probably the coin that I think may be the one that holds up in a bear market. If you think about what Ripple are doing, and again, we had a great conversation last night on the live stream, so look out for more of those. Again, Vern and I are on every Wednesday. We're hoping to bring some cool-ass guests on the show. We've had some brilliant people, actually, on this show. Like, we're marketing directors from Matic. We had some very smart people on last night. It was epic. Do you think all this happens to stop XRP? I mean, I'm not that big on conspiracies. But I like conspiracies. If you were to say to me, 2-Bit, what is your view of the market? Like, why do you think the market is performing exactly like it is? My view never changes, is that whenever there is opportunities to stomp the little guy into the floor, then people with money will always take that opportunity. That's my opinion. So, for example, when you look at BlackRock, and you look at, you look at traditional banks, and I always talk about this, you look at fractionalized banking, and we sort of dived a little bit into it last night on the TikTok live where we said about the Federal Reserve and how that's all come about. And, basically how does the global economy work? Well, all you have to do is understand fractionalized banking to understand it's a fucking scam. And that's why I took everything I own, excluding my pension, because look, I'm not stupid, and went into digital assets and don't hold traditional stocks, don't have, I can't honestly tell you the last time I used like a card in a machine. I can't tell you. It must be 10 years ago, easily. And so when you start to get into that, then it's all about control. Like think about it. They buy billions of dollars worth of Bitcoins. Everyone gets super excited. All this money starts to flow in. And even if you look at it just really objectively on the number of facts that came in, Bitcoin rallied to $125,000. That's nearly double what we were before. Well, that's a massive injection, not only from ETFs, but loads of retail will have got into that. People who got in this really interesting statement. An OG whale sold their entire portfolio, $1.3 billion. That is an OG Satoshi era wallet that just dumped its entire Bitcoin. Fact is that you've got two forces at work. You've got the big institutions that are now vying for control, while at the same time, the very people that believed in Bitcoin being a decentralized asset are going, screw it then, this isn't for me anymore. This is just another bank playground that I'm not going to be part of. So my view is at the minute, it's kind of a real jostle for what happens. Because at the end of the day, the institutions can buy our entire market. Nvidia's market cap is more than the entire cryptocurrency. So as much as I always say, it's a big deal to us, and it is. On the grand scheme of things, if the Bitcoin and crypto market completely collapsed, who the hell gives a shit? Do you know what I mean? That is the harsh reality of the world we live in. Obviously, we would care because we would all lose loads of money, but it's not like if Bank of America went bust, like the whole financial system would collapse. So, yeah, I don't necessarily subscribe to the fact it's for an agenda other than I believe it's for control. And I think this particular bull market, where you'll have had people that are coming into this bull market that are on the belief of this is going to be great, I'm going to be in it from the morning, blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden you got wrecked. Think about it. Like so many times, $1 billion gets liquidated out of margin debt. Like it's wild. Bye-bye. Got to go to bed. Crying to sleep. Daniel, it's fine, mate. Don't worry about it. Every time something good happens with XRP, the market always drops. Look what happened with HBAR. Pump like 15-70% XRP has not moved to the ETF. That's true. I mean, it's the worst time to launch ETFs. If we're dead honest, because what you've got is, interesting enough, massive selling from Bitcoin ETFs, albeit, if we're just objective and you deal in fact, which I always think is important, they actually didn't particularly dump, or they're not going to dump. They're sort of holding up. BlackRock stops its relentless selling and buys 680 Bitcoin. Now, here's something that might be pretty interesting. If tomorrow, I'll read it in a sec, Logitech, that BlackRock all of a sudden comes in and buys 2,000 Bitcoin, then we might be in for an interesting weekend, but we'll see. The point of the ETF for XRP is supply shot. The price being down is a plus. I mean, that's true. That's true. You're just launching into a challenging market, aren't you? But yeah, and in essence, that share price or the ETF will get better rates. Right, wherever you put it. Logitech, here we go. Yeah, no, it's easy to miss. That's why. Sorry for spam. Just an interesting question. If we were to close this 12 mil candle red, it would be the first time happening year after halving ever. Look at it. It's interesting. The 12 month, so you want about the monthly candle. on BTC, right? Let me get rid of that. So you know about the monthly candle, yeah? So yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. How much volume did Bitwise XRP ETF do? Well, I thought I had that information for you guys. 1 second. 1 second. By the way, if you're wondering what that beeping is, I don't know if you can hear it. That is our Discord channel. If you want to get involved in our Discord, it's totally free to join. Link is in the bio and also down in the description, so check it out. Definitely recommend getting involved in that. So, Bitwise ETF, here you go, look, did $21.7 million. That's all right, isn't it? So with a bit over 3 hours left of trading, Bitwise XRP is almost at 22 million in trading volume. Quite impressive for the second product to market at a full week of Canary Capitals with the number 1 launch by volume this year. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty big. It's a decent number. Do you think Vanguard, Frank Temple, Blanket will all this ETF launch? Well, I mean, it's interesting that BlackRock have gone for an ETF on Ethereum, a staked Ethereum ETF. I thought that was pretty interesting. Logitech, I'll send it to your Discord. Yeah, you're in there now, aren't you? So it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, no dramas, Daniel. Appreciate it. Good evening, 2-Bit. I've been listening in the background. 37, what's going on, man? Appreciate it, buddy. What's your thoughts on S-to-Tex? I have no idea what that is. It was 5.5 mil when I checked. Wow, yeah. I mean, that's a decent day, 22 million. So we think we're going to get a couple more next week as well. So, yeah, pretty good news. Here it is. Well, the second XRP ETF hits US markets today. Here's how it's going so far. So you can see there. Pretty bullish news, by the way. And I think we get, what do we get next week? We got Bitwise, Canary Capital. Who is it next week? Franklin Templeton, maybe. I can't remember. Small ETFs going first to buy at the stock, and then once the big ballers go into place, will pump. I mean, that's definitely true. If you want to drag it and out and show it, yeah, chuck it in the Discord. I'll take a look at it. Franklin Templeton, yeah. Okay, cool. So that could be a good one. That could be good news. And then look at this. Bitcoin plunges to 86K as an OG whale sells off all $1.3 billion in holdings. These are the people that you don't like. These are the people I don't like. They're like, holy shit, they got 1.1 billion. Like, why can't they just give me, 10 Bitcoin? It's fine. 21 shares is tomorrow. Is it really? Nice. That's going to be like 125 million then for the week in ETFs for XRP. Pretty bullish. We can check Canary Capital's ETF actually, which I think is holding up pretty well. I wonder if there's a way of tracking all of them. This is why I need to get a website built so I can start doing cool ass shit like this and like tracking all XRP ETF inflows on the only place to buy it on the 2bitcrypto.com website, but I don't have it yet. I need to build it. Right. So 138.58 milli. So it won't have today on it. So I don't know what today is, but yeah, it's nearly at $300 million in that already, which is pretty insane in a week. So that could be like $1 billion in the next couple of weeks easily. 1.5 trillion. Franklin Templeton. Let's get it. Let's get it. Do you know how else I think you can tell the market's really bad right now is that all those that were like super macro bullish on the market, they're like, hold, it's going to be fine, are all now talking about some shit meme coin somewhere. So, yeah. Pretty interesting. Also, Monad. I don't know if you guys are in, but Monad looks like that mother trucker is going to sell out pretty soon as well. So I don't know if you guys bought it, but yeah, it's getting close to being done. Monad Labs has raised approximately 248 million in its venture capital funding round across private funding rounds. So yeah, they are nearly done. Nearly done. Ah, there we go. Got it. There you go. What's that? Bitcoin USD, the 12-month. Oh, I see what you've done. I see what you've done. You've not done it in that. You've done it in you've done it in that, haven't you? Sorry, yeah. You the yearly candles. That's what you've done. That's what you've done. Canary in the coal mine, Curtis. Yeah, I love how Atom has been green candle through the whole shit show of the market today. That's wild. That's wild. Sonny says, Timmy, do you think XRP can go below $1? I mean, anything can go wherever it wants right now. Do I think it will? Probably not. I think you've got too much optimistic viewing of where XRP is going to go, in my opinion. In my opinion. Now, I mean, if the broader market dumps, I mean, think about it. XRP's gone from what, 385? Let's call it $3 at the all-time high. It's dropped $1. Bitcoin's dropped 60K. So you assume if Bitcoin's bottom 60 grand, you're probably at 165. It'd be my sort of low end potential price. But yeah, 190 I think is where XRP feels like a stronghold. I think if we look at Here's the weekly. So what's this one? Yeah, 193. If you look at it on a weekly, it's probably slightly lower, like 192 there. If you go on the daily candles, it might paint a slightly different picture, but nah, that looks about right in fairness. Logarithmic. Are you okay? Fine. I think I'm on logarithmic. Yeah, I'm on logarithmic. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, that's what I think it is. Now, BTC back above 87.6 right now. So a little bit of I think it's definitely like a bit of a dead cat bounce. I wouldn't be at all going super crazy on this, but interesting. Interesting indeed, for sure. For sure. Okay, let's close this out. Close this out. We don't need this. Let's bring up a little bit of what you guys want to talk about. So if you guys have got any questions, if you guys got any thoughts, any opinions, any statements, whatever you want to talk about, we've got like, I don't know, like 20 minutes left, something like that. We've nearly, the whole hour of this live stream's nearly gone, which is kind of bullish. Now, I don't know if any of you guys got into Charlie on base. I did a couple of videos about this. He's up 54% today. So if you bought the dip on this when I put my video out, then congrats. Good news. This one is actually performing pretty well, up 51%, and he's starting to get some real momentum as well. So again, if you got into this one, shout out to you guys. A good one, feels like anyway. So yeah. BTC drops that low, Sailor goes under. Well, we looked at it yesterday, didn't we? His liquidation, not that his liquidation, he holds its spot, but he's only underwater at 74k, which is insane to think about. So while ever Bitcoin's above 74k, he's fine. Below that, you know, could Sailor default? Maybe. Solana XAI launch in 50 minutes. Or does it? Oh, it goes on Bitmart, doesn't it? On Bitmart. Let's see what that one does. I'm out of bird quotes, Curtis. Pete thought you were going to mention gas fees. Ooh. That looks like a bouncing ball heading down to the set of stairs. Yeah, I know. I know. It's painful to look at it. We talked about this yesterday. The fact that you can go from an all-time high to where we are right now in 45 days, right? And yet to go from the same price to the all-time high took us 169 days. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Which again is another like super crazy market, because actually the opposite was said in the 2021 bull market cycle where we kind of rallied up. But yeah, hey ho, is what it is. As a miner, I welcome the dip. Alvin, get out of here, you massive shopper. Oh, guess what? I got invited to Dubai today. How crazy is that? I got invited to a Ledger event, which is kind of frustrating because I would love to go, which is another reason, by the way, why I need to just do this full time. Which is another reason why everyone needs to watch my videos, hit the like button, smash up the like button to brand new all-time, do all that kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, I actually got invited to Dubai. I can't go, which is super annoying, but yeah, I got invited to Dubai, which is kind of cool, isn't it? They were like, hey, To Be Crypto, we're hosting an event with Ledger on December 11th in Dubai. It's a private invite-only gathering, and we'd love you to invite. Are you by any chance planning to be in Dubai around that time? It's like, no. No, I'm not, funny enough. But hey, wish I was. Yeah, super annoying. I got invited to Monaco by them as well, and couldn't go to Monaco, which is annoying. Do you know why? Because I have to go and do a 9-to-5 job in which I'm going to have to start early tomorrow because my boss went somewhere today, and it all just gets a bit awkward. But hey, imagine that was like the life. It could be like, yo, I'm streaming here live from Dubai. I'd obviously have loads of sun cream on, but anyway. It's a scam too, but I mean, it is one of the marketing agencies that I've been working with now for the last... it's not like just some random email, just so we're clear on that. Like, it's literally one of the marketing agencies, one of the market people I work with and have done now for, since 2024, September 2024. So yeah. So, I've been working with these guys for a long time, so it's fine. The 4-hour RSI showing the 3x bull div relief incoming. In my opinion, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Whether that's actually true or not, I do not know, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that we get some kind of bounce. What's going on, Fairground? Fairground in the building, everybody. What's going on, Fairground? If you haven't already, by the way, give us a quick thumbs up. And also check out the links in the description. If you want to trade all your favorite cryptocurrencies, all that good stuff is down there as well. So, again, never financial advice on this channel. Check it. To Dubai or not to Dubai? That is the question. That's actually right, Tomato Pete. Are you still providing content to Coinbase? It wasn't Coinbase. CoinMarketCap. I am an official CoinMarketCap partner, I guess. Like, a little bit. A little bit. Long Game Scam saw a show about those the other week. I mean, if it's a long game scam, then it's a pretty big scam because I've probably done 20 videos on the back of them. So, I mean, if it is, then it's a pretty expensive scam to get me to go to Dubai or Monaco. I don't know. Anyway, I can't go, so it's what it is. But I mean, like I said, I've known these guys since September 2024, so like over a year now. But hey, it is what it is, and we have to just keep trucking on. So Bitcoin right now, 87,500. ETH dropping below, XRP back above 202, and actually 3.08 is one of the better performers in fairness. Have you sold your Sui, Ondo, AVAX? So Sui, yes. Ondo, no. And AVAX, no, but I am thinking about it. But at the same time, it's so down. And look, I'm not afraid to say, I bought AVAX I didn't even buy it. At the time, it wasn't that expensive. And I DCA'd the shit out of it. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. But yeah, at the minute, no. So like I said, I'm still in Solana, have all that staked, still in my ETH, still in my XRP, and then I've got a couple of fringe coins that are almost either A, not worth selling because the downside risk is probably not that great. But then I closed out all the kind of outside and DeFi, I'm in very little DeFi players, very, very little. Literally, I think I'm in Charlie. I think I've got a little bag of Charlie. I've got a little bag of Atlantis that's launching on Monad on Saturday. So I got some of that. I think that's about it, really. Staking, is it worth? I never know, and it kind of feels like I make 2 cents every day. So the Solana staking is actually pretty good. It just all depends on how much you've got. That's kind of the narrative. So, for example, if you are, where is it? Oh, sorry, you just had to look at me yawn my head off them. So if you look at here, this is Solana, and let's say you had, I don't know, let's say you got 10 Sol as an example. It's not the craziest amount of money in the world, so you make about 0.001 every single day, 0.01 a week, 0.04 a 30-day period, and 365 you make half a Sol, which isn't the craziest number, but at the same time, if you're planning like I did, so I had it in, I've had Sol in it since I bought it. So you think about the bottom of the bear market, 22, so I've had it in for 2 and a bit years. And then it all depends what the number of Solana you've got. Let's say you have 100 Sol, you earn another 6 Sol. Well, in my head, it was predictions of bull market cycle tops. Let's say $600 Solana. This becomes worth it. It's $3,600. Which is why these ETFs are going to work. Let's say you have 500. You're going to make 30 Sol a day. 1,000 Solana. Not even that crazy number. 135K. You're making 60 Sol every year. Think about it. It's crazy. It's crazy. You make 5,000 Solana. 300 Sol every single year. It's not bad. You get 3% of the price and small cash extra from stake. It's just, you're just a validator, so it costs you a transactional fee, I think. That's my opinion. You'll have the cops around saying you got a Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So Solana I have staked. The other one I have staked is Aerodrome. Albeit the price of Aerodrome looks like an absolute sack of sandals. Phantom Wallet Logic. So I DeFi stake it as with a validator. So yeah, this is currently getting 32% APR right now, so it's okay. It's the reason why I've been able to make Aerodrome kind of somewhere near as a profitable venture, shall we say. But so I have Aero staked, which basically is wrapped Ethereum as well. And then yeah, I have Solana staked. So what would my numbers be realistically on a daily basis? I don't want to show you guys what I have. What is it? I think it's that number. Which means that I'm earning about that. Put it into that is that okay, so I'm probably earning at right now prices maybe $40 a week, from my stakes, which doesn't sound like a lot. But if you then compound that over the year as an example, it's $2,000 a year. So it's not I'm not able to stop working on the back of it, but still it's $2,000 from doing nothing. And then if you assume price increase, which is why I always talked about, actually, it was never really about the price through the bear market and I guess coming out of it. For me, it was how do I stack more? That was where I was at, because eventually it will all kind of filter its way through. But yeah. But yeah, Phantom Wallet is where I stake Solana. Aerodrome, I stake on the official Aerodrome website. You can stake on Coinbase, but it's not actually that good. So like Solana, I think on Coinbase, you get 4%. It's a little bit safer-ish, but yeah. What about the news on the 22nd of November, the ISO 222? I mean, yeah, it's coming. Is anything going to fundamentally change? Maybe not. Don't forget, it's just the last day in which the Swift integration can take place, and that the assumption then is that they moves over. It's been obviously billed as this like massive thing for like all of a sudden on November 22nd, everyone's going to use XRP. It's not going to happen. Like it's all to do with the Swift network, which they might choose something else. I mean, they might choose fucking HBAR or something, but I mean, still, it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news opportunity. It could be good news as well, by the way. But basically, like I said, the global standard for electronic data interchanges for the financial industry is changed. So the old system goes to the new one, basically. So, I mean, fingers crossed it does something, but I don't see like we'll get there and all of a sudden it's going to be this massive spike. But I mean, who knows? Bybit is shit on stake. Well, lots of exchanges, don't forget, will generally not be great because they're going to want to take a percentage of it. So let's say you get 7% for staking with validators. All the exchanges do is do that and offer you 4% as an example. No, I think Monad will launch anyway. It's the thing with Monad is it's a massive ecosystem. So it's not like a random. So what you've got is Monads that like it's like launching the base network. That'll just launch anywhere, in my opinion. And then you've got like the build on top of it. So like Atlantis is built on the top of Monad. So yeah, I've staked Dot, Tron, and Sol. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think Tron's all right for staking. In my opinion. Stick to the big guns, not the upherd. Yeah, I mean, that's true. BTC Hyper, what's your opinion? It's got a lot of marketing behind it. That's what I would say. My only thoughts on a number of them that we've seen recently on the channel as well is when you've got these enormous pre-sales. I mean, we're talking 20, 30, 40, $50 million pre-sales. It's a bit like, I'm not saying they're bad, by the way, but they're generally challenging when they launch, unless they've got real core utility, in my opinion. So like Monad, as an example, they're literally going to launch a chain, and there's going to be loads of stuff that's going to get launched on the chain. So you're like, well, maybe it's kind of going to be all right. But what's your thoughts on XLM? I like XLM. Yeah, I don't own any. I mean, look, I feel like a lot of altcoins have basically been cut short by this move in the market. But yeah, XLM I think is going to be good news. If XRP gets a big rally and truly integrates into the financial markets, XLM will get a little bit of a kind of free ride to certainly some good prices, I'm sure. Beeb says bullish on QT ending December 1st. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it can't come soon enough. I mean, did you see though that the Fed did actually start to print treasuries? Did I talk about this the other night? Have you seen that? JB says back again. May as well hold on to the Nvidia now. Yeah, I know it's wild, JB. Nvidia like crashing like it did. So did I show you that the Fed have already started to print money, but no one's talking about it? Just saying. Just saying. Is it on chain and flexible or fixed? I think it's fixed, Logitech. It's like 7.45. It's basically how it's a proof of stake chain. So it's how you uphold the ledger of Solana by staking it with validators. I think it's like 7.45%. Anyway, check it out. I'm not 100% certain. It's already been said that XRP to settle derivatives, which would be wild. Have you seen the stuff about the derivatives market? I mean, if you are really in a max fear and you want to kind of cry yourself to sleep, go and understand what the derivatives market's all about. Holy shit, that is like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. But yeah, just in my opinion. Scoop Virus's thoughts on Kite. I have no idea, but I'm happy to bring the chart up because it's always good to have a look at new coins. Kite, here we go. Look at this. Is it this one? Kite. USDT. I mean, it's a nice little uptrend. It's volume 3 million, $21 million markup. cap. I don't know anything about the project, but I mean, chart doesn't look horrendous. That's what I would say. 2017 is when I first got into the crypto market. 2017, and I got absolutely demolished. I bought loads of Bitcoin on credit cards, which I highly recommend not doing, by the way. Highly recommend not doing. And lost it all by investing in BitConnect. If you don't know what BitConnect is, go and have a look at it. Basically a massive Ponzi scheme that I lost it all. So yeah, 2017, I came out of it. I think I mean, it's painful to even think about it. I think the number was between £7,000 and £10,000, which is probably like $12,000 that I invested back in 2017. Bitcoin was like $2,500, and I was buying Bitcoin. It's on my Coinbase wallet. I still can see it because I had Coinbase. But yeah, like buying buying 0.5 Bitcoin for like $1,200. Like, oh man, like what the fuck? Anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, so 2017 got rugged on BitConnect. That's that reality of it. And then yeah, 2021 kind of started on YouTube, and I've been kind of doing this ever since. So, yeah. Kite's flying high. Yeah, I mean, Kite looks pretty bullish in fairness. Timo says, folks, finance. Man, up 47% as well. Like, some of these are bullish. What's this on AVAX? I mean, why has it done that? I always am nervous when stuff does this, because you're like, okay, well, I'm late. Like, I'm late to this trade. Like, see you later. See you later. How do you start to learn all this? By absolutely burying myself in the market. Don't forget, I live stream 6 days a week, and I've been doing this. I did at one point live stream 7 days a week. I literally sleep less. I sleep very little, actually. I sleep about 4 hours a day. And the rest of it, I do a full 9-to-5 job. I have 3 kids. And then every bit of waking time that I'm not doing anything, I am involved in this market. So one thing about me is, like, if I'm in something, I'm in it big, and I'll do everything I can to really understand it. So equally, on the channel, we've built something that a lot of channels don't have, by the way. Yeah, all right, we might not have the craziest of audiences. We might not do 50,000 views every single live stream. I might not have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but we do things right. So we put, like, I think it was like 12 or 13 people through a technical analysis course here. We paid for it on the channel. The channel paid for it all. We put people through technical analysis courses. Why? Because it builds a community of people that can really bounce off each other in terms of thoughts and ideas and what they're doing. You know, we've done mining, we've launched a coin, like we've done all sorts of stuff and learned on the way. And I think what's really good about this particular community and this channel is that there's people that are here tonight on this live stream that were here when I had like 500 subscribers. You know what I mean? So, which a lot of channels don't have. And I think, you know, that's kind of where we get to. I often refer back to the course 2-bit. There you go. You see, it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. I learned so much from the course. Yeah. One of the things I want to do, which I was hoping that the bull market would be way better, which is why I sort of secretly deep down, hopefully there's more to come. I want to do some more stuff through. I want to do like a financial advisor course. Like that would be cool as fuck. Imagine like putting 4 or 5 people through a financial advisor course. That would be awesome. So, you know, when people have to go, it's not financial advice, you can be in a world of going, well, it kind of can be. It can be individual financial advice, but it kind of is. But I don't know how much it costs or anything like that. But I'd love to do something like that. It'd be cool. It's a cross-chain lending protocol. Monad will be live on it at launch. I think that's what's bringing the volume today. Interesting. What, Folks Finance is going to be on Monad? Monad's a chain, isn't it? So is this going to be on Monad? That's the question, I guess. What platform do you use to allow shorts in the UK? So I think, don't hold me to this, but I think you can trade on BITUNIX. Check out the link on YouTube. I think you can do BITUNIX, and I think you can do Coinbase one, but I think there might be a fee on it. But yeah. I know quite a few people that do what the hell is that? I don't know what that means. I'd love to get involved further and do TA. Tech Savvy Crypto, join the Discord. That's what I would say. If you're like a super TA guy, by the way, if you're like super into TA, or I've done something. If you're super into TA, join the Discord. Here's my recommendation. Become a channel member. It costs you like $8 a month. Get into the premium Discord. We have a full channel in there that's like dedicated to trade setups, what we think is going to happen in the market, new coin launches, VC investments, everything else. It's literally $8 a month. I know technically you'd be paying for it, but that's my opinion. Or just be in the Discord, like loads of people are in there. So, what do you think about ETF? Oh, you mean I mean, it says Zach Reactor. I know you're not actually real Zach Reactor, which I would tell you this, by the way. Just use your real name. Look, I think it's good news as long as you can ride it up, and then you have to be careful about when it comes out the other side. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Bitcoin right now. You're doing great too, bit. It makes a change getting content creators in the UK. It's refreshing. Let's go. Macraggy. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Do you think AI is in a bubble? Yes. Come on. I mean, how can you not think it's in a bubble? That'd be my 47% of the entire stock market is made up by AI. Like, think about that. Like, it's insane. And yeah, the question is and when does it burst? Which I think a lot of people are believing it's burst now, but yeah. In my opinion, Tomato P says financial advice. Buy Muppets. So yeah. 2-bit community is one of the most loyal communities in crypto. It's literally, honestly, other channels would kill for this community. And you know what I like as well? Is loads of new people are coming in and they're cool as cucumbers. I love it, by the way. I love it. We've got a great community down here on TikTok. Great community here on YouTube. And then, like I said, the Discord community is getting there. You know, we're getting there. We'll start to do a couple of, like, you know, members live streams and start to do some bits and pieces in there as well, which will be super, super cool as well. But, you know, once that starts popping and getting a little bit more, you know, bullish in there, that'll be good. By the way, we vet every single account that comes in there as well. So I yeeted a 2-bit out there. But bear in mind, I will never message you guys in TikTok well, I won't do it on TikTok either. If you want to get in contact with me, the best thing is either to get me on Telegram and go to my YouTube channel and get the links off there, or go into our Discord, link in the bio or the description, go into links and you can see literally my YouTube link, TikTok link, Twitter link, business email, by the way, you can see that as well. So you can literally get me 100% through that. All right, so, you know, check it out, basically. That's my opinion. Why is that not going to a link? Shouldn't that be a link? Can I make that hyperlink? Maybe I can't. Okay, fine. Maybe I can't. So anyway, but that's my view, by the way. So yeah, check it out. Check it out. A lot of us buying the actual currency too and getting it sent to their house. Yeah, the Fed has rugged crypto. Feels like it. Feels like it. Folks, I focus on many chains. Check it out, buddy. Cross-chain lending, swaps, etc. Okay, yeah, definitely check it out. I'll definitely take a look at it for sure. For sure. Right, BTC back above 87.5. It's kind of okay. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. Better than nothing. As Stream Element says, by the way, have you subscribed to the channel? That's the big question right now. If you haven't, then I think you should. Hit the subscribe button, and while you're down there, give us a little thumbs up. Massively appreciate it. Don't forget, you can become a channel member, get access to that premium Discord, and get our access to the bot that's in there that will literally do technical analysis on a DeFi or a cryptocurrency when you just type it into the chat. Obviously, you get that in the premium side of things. So again, recommend you get involved in that as well. And you can also, by subscribing here on TikTok, you can get involved as well. So good news. Yeah, I was talking about the Fed. The Fed bought back, or the Fed actually printed the other day. I think it was this. Can't remember. I think I'd seen it somewhere else. Anyway, I talked about it in my videos, but yeah. But yeah, good news. Right, what time are we on? Man, 10 past 10. Welcome into everybody's just joined the Discord. You massive set of legends. We appreciate you. So, I mean, look, maybe Bitcoin rallies back to 88,000. Maybe, just maybe, we get a little bit more upside momentum. You know, ETFs could be in a world where they are buying tomorrow as opposed to selling. Maybe we get there. I think right now, as I've said before, you very much need to be mindful of this market. Right now, the market is in super crazy max fear mode. And while we're in this mode, you get this kind of bit where people will just dump their bags at any opportunity for slight upside momentum. So you are going to have to think about what it plays through as. You're going to have to keep an eye on it. But at the same time, you know, be mindful, trade what you think is the right thing to do. And always make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, because you absolutely don't want to miss out on a single thing that we cover here on the channel. So I, as well as many others, will be back tomorrow night, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. in the UK. Look out for my content. Remember, we have a macroeconomic and Bitcoin update video. Comes out 11:30 UK time every single day. That's going to give you macro trends, what we think about the market for that day, how it's playing out, what are some key things to think about. 11:30 every single day, that video comes out. Definitely check it out. Later in the afternoon, about 4 o'clock, we either get an XRP video or another altcoin video, or maybe it's a brand new project that's coming out as well. So definitely stay tuned in. That notification bell, turn it to all, then you're not going to miss a beat. And finally, yes, 63% of you still believe in a rate cut in December. So fingers crossed, let's see how that plays out. And hopefully, just hopefully, we all manage to stay bullish long enough that actually we can see a potential new all-time high for Bitcoin, albeit it does feel very far away. Brother on a reward staking site, is it native staking option on calculator to normal staking? Don't know. No idea. Go to just staking Solana and just do it that way. It's a validator of service, I think. If you're looking to stake Solana, just go to the site is the site that I use is stakingrewards.com. Go to there. Here, I'll put it in the chat. That'll walk you through Solana, and then you've got a few others I think you can look at. You can look in there at things like Ethereum, BNB, Hyperliquid, basically any way you can stake it. Just please be mindful if you're staking on a DeFi protocol, it's always going to be a bit of a challenge. Recommend going through a DeFi wallet such as Phantom. That's dead easy to do it. But yeah, if you're looking at Solana, then do that. Some of these will be third-party yield farms. Be careful, because if they go bust or go to the toilet, you lose everything. Right. As always, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. See you soon. Take care. Adios. Auf Wiedersehen.